Good evening and welcome to round 6 of the Korea Racing League F1 2021 Esports League. We are racing in Azerbaijan this evening around the Baku street circuit. It is a very fast track, very interesting track in general, with a very fast first sector, quite a windy second sector, and then a very fast third sector. Two DRS zones around the first and first and third straights, or the start finish straight and the second other straight. You can see them there in green, and quite a bit of elevation. Turns 10, 11, 12 are the castle section, which most people are familiar with, and it is a very, very quick circuit, very technical through that castle section especially. So at the end of our previous quali session, we had Humid topping the times, Zeal in second place, Venom in third, Jarvis in fourth, and IMTJ in fifth place. Their times quite far apart. There was a little bit of rain towards the end of the session, and that did cause a little bit of a gap between the various people. You can see the top three were also on the soft tires, and then mediums beyond that. And Mello in sixth place managed to get a fast lap on the intermediate tires. So as I said, mixed condition quali, and that led to those weird timings there. The race itself was an incredible race. The end certainly delivered a lot of excitement, and the Dark Fox eventually managed to pull the win ahead of Zeal, overtaking in the second to last lap, if I recall correctly. Potty and Dark Fox are deciding to work together towards the end of the race to try and catch up to Zeal, making that happen, and then fighting him all the way to the line for the last 4 or 5 laps. It was absolutely incredible to watch. So the Dark Fox managed to win, Zeal in second, Potty in third, IMTJ in fourth, Venom in fifth, Fricke in sixth, and Suffix in seventh place. Everyone below that ended up with a DNF. It was quite an incident-laden race, and there have been a couple of penalties handed out due to that, but they are not going to come into effect this race, as those in question are not going to be able to make it anyway. Longest stints, IMTJ with the longest stint, a 13-lap stint on the mediums. Dark Fox managing to make a soft tire, which he put on quite early to try and go for an alternate strategy after a safety car, which he made work. He finished on those 12-lap old soft tires, and you can see, like as you saw, he did finish first, so it was definitely the right call. Risky strategy, but made it work. 12-lap old soft tires. Fastest laps of the race, Venom got 2 of the fastest, Dark Fox the 3rd fastest, Humid 4th fastest, and then Venom the 5th. You can see they were quite close together. Venom's fastest lap was a 10th up, but not much to separate them, only 5/10ths separating the fastest lap times. Pure race pace, I actually looked into this and actually took some time to read the little text at the bottom, and essentially what this does, as far as I understand, is the top 30% of the best sectors are taken together, and they make an average lap time over that number of laps, and that's how you get to this number here. So this is slower than their ideal fastest lap, but it is the fastest sectors put together in such a way that it gives you a good idea of what pace they were actually running. And consistency, this is how close they were to their average lap time throughout the race. Mello with 8.2 consistency, a gap of 1/10, 1.5 tenths between his average lap and the differences that he was generally getting. So very consistent, especially in Sector 3 there. Fricke, the second most consistent, and IMTJ in 3rd place. So let's head across to the game. I am going to open it up now. Just making sure that I have everything in the right places and all the stats are being recorded. That's all good, and let's head over to the racing itself. Alrighty, so we can already see a couple of people have retired. G-Funk and Marcus both retiring. 6th for G-Funk, 7th for Marcus. Marcus without setting a time, so I suspect he has had some sort of problem and had to retire from the quali session. but we should see some decent laps coming out anyway. We're following Deadpool around at the moment, not running with a lap on the board just yet, so I do believe this is his hot lap. This is just coming out of turn number 2 onto that second DRS straight. Let me get the map up and running so we can see what's going on. Oh, alright, so Deadpool has already invalidated his lap, so we will go to Venom, who is gearing up for a lap. How's it, Hypex? Sorry for missing your message. I was busy doing my intro and was a little focused. So, Venom. Oof. Venom starting his lap going into turn 1. Nice fast corner, lots of runoff, relatively a lot of runoff there, so you can really gun it and pull out early if you need to and miss the wall. Going through turn 2, gets onto the DRS straight, DRS wide open, will be affected very slightly by, I'm pretty sure that's Dark Fox in front of him in the Alfa Romeo, but shouldn't feel it too much through this section here. Going in towards, I don't even really bother with thinking of this as a straight, gets right across the tree to the 100-meter board, turns into the next little chicane, and now this is all run up to the castle section. This is the last bit of breathing room before you go into the castle section. Turn right here and the walls are so close together. You can see there is no space to even breathe here. Going into the castle section, so close on both sides, and then out into the open area in front of the embassy buildings up in sector 2. Round he goes very fast, not quite straight there. This corner over there is so easy to lock up and head into the wall there. There's actually a bump there in real life which isn't in the game, which makes it even more difficult, but it is always difficult to get there. You're carrying so much speed and you have to keep it going as fast as you possibly can, because if you don't get it right, you lose so much speed on that little bit, and so much speed all the way down the straight here, because you can't build up speed quite enough to get up to that corner just before the long straight. How's it, Big Fudge? How you doing? Yeah, I'm getting used to it. It's still a little bit too much multitasking for me half the time, but there you have it. So Venom rather, going up to 5th place with a 140.397. Not a terrible lap, but definitely more to come. Venom did set that on the soft tires, so that is the softest compound, that is the fastest compound. I don't know if he's maybe sandbagging. I know Venom does have a little bit more speed than that. So we'll see if he manages something else a little bit later on. Mello now winding up for his lap, I assume, as it says he's on an out lap, heading down the hill here. Throws the car into this corner, lots of runoff there. You can actually take a lot of the curb there, a lot more than it looks like. It looks like Mello is comfortable using, but ideally you need to straddle that curb all the way along it to get the best exit out of there, and then you carry that speed all the way down the pit straight. You can see this is one of the longest full throttle straights, for lack of a better term, in the sport. Down into turn 1, hard braking, get really close to the barriers over there, keep right up to the wall into the first DRS zone after the pit straight. You have to sit in the middle of the road there because there is a slight kink to it, and if you don't sit on the middle of the road, then you're going to have to deal with that kink a little bit later on. Going through this into the Mazepin corner. Mazepin's first time out here, he went straight there into the little escape road, and now into the tight chicane which leads into sector 2. Good first sector for Mello, so this is looking like a decent lap so far into the claustrophobic castle section. Round this corner, it keeps putting us on board, and you can see how close he is on the right hand side to that wall. You have to be that close, you have to get as straight a line up that hill as possible, otherwise you lose a lot of time there. It's so easy to lose a tenth or two in that little section. Down into the second hardest corner there, you can see how close he got to the wall there. Didn't push it as hard as he possibly could have, but definitely running hard. straddles a little bit of that curb there, so this is definitely a much bigger lap than he did. It's a little bit of a slide through there, but that's absolutely fine. Won't have taken too much out of the tires. Into the DRS zone leading up to the start finish line. And let's see where Mello goes. Currently in 5th place with a 140 and goes up to 3rd with a 139.571. In the meantime, Venom did manage to get another lap on those soft tires. Must have been running a little bit more fuel than he otherwise should have with a 139.832. So made up quite a bit of time. If he is running a little bit more fuel than normal, he might be literally sandbagging, although it does look like his red light is on, so he will be coming into the pits. He doesn't have enough battery for another run. The pit straight here, or the pit lane here, as you can see, it's very claustrophobic, just like the rest of the track, and it's very easy to put it into the wall there. So I am TJ out on his outlap at the moment, coming through towards the end of Sector 2. Let's see what he can do. I am getting a report of lobby desync, so let me just go check what's happening there, and I will be right back. Okay, so we are going to rehost quickly. It is unfortunately coming to the end of the quali session, but that's absolutely fine. We do have a little bit of extra time. We did start exactly on time, so we are going to rehost quickly, rather get it all right, instead of running a desync lobby and then getting into the race and having a situation where everything just goes terribly. So we will be right back. It shouldn't take too long to do. Alrighty, thank you for your patience. We almost have everyone back into the game, so we will be getting underway very shortly. Alrighty, sorry for that delay. We have rehosted the lobby. We should be going in shortly, and let's hope this goes better. So far, it's not looking all that promising. 30 seconds to go until the session starts without someone someone having joined. Okay, that's a little confusing. Okay, there we go. That looks like the game has decided to let us get going. And I'm sure it will switch us across to the next screen very shortly. There we go. Okay, so as we saw, quite a few quick people around. We should be able to should start seeing them get underway very shortly. Most people are pretty quick out onto the track. So we will follow the first person out, no matter who that is, and watch them go round on their lap. There we go. We have an Alfa Romeo heading out. That is Mello. So Mello is going to be the first car out on track. Looks like he's getting a tiny little bit of lag there, but I'm sure that'll clear up fairly quickly. Although with the lobby issue we had earlier, okay, that is a lot of lag. That is more than just a little bit. And with the lobby issue we were having earlier, I wonder if the servers are actually having a couple of issues this evening. So we will keep an eye on that. But for the moment, we will follow G-Funk around on his lap. Okay, so as we go in, Deadpool already being disqualified for going the wrong way. I wonder what happened there. It looks like he took to the escape route and may have had to try and turn around and get back onto the track, but the game was unhappy with the way that he did that. So our first disqualification from quali so far in this session, and hopefully that wasn't a bug that took him out, but I'm sure that's not too much of a problem. Well, it is for Deadpool, but for the rest of the race, I think that shouldn't be too much of a problem. So let's go back to Mello. He is coming up to the start-finish track, start-finish straight. We will keep an eye on him just to see whether this lag is going to get any better. If it doesn't, I might have to ask him to sit out this race, or otherwise to give him the opportunity to try and fix the lag. KQ Microstatic joining one more time, that he has used his backup invite already, so hopefully he doesn't have any more issues going forward, but we'll keep an eye on that as well. So Mello going through into turn 3 and 4, the Mazepin chicane. I'm going to refer to it like that a couple of times, and then down towards 5 and 6 is this a very tight little chicane here, heading up this little mini straight going towards the castle section. You can see it's not quite straight. You have to get right onto the curb there, and those curves are so slippery as you head into the castle section. It's easy to lose it into there, but not as easy as it is to lose it through the castle corners themselves. Corners 8, 9, 10, and 11, and that's corner 12 heading out into the embassy section. Or the government buildings, I think they are. The buildings on that you saw flashing past in the background there, those are the government buildings. Down into turn number 15, that's turn number 15. You could see the amount of curb he had to take, and the fact that he did hit into the wall, although we're not sure if that is actually hitting into the wall or if that was just the lag that was causing it. Mello does look like he is still lagging around quite a lot. So I'm going to have to ask him to just double check his connection, see what's going on there, and figure it out before the end of the session. Otherwise he's going to have to retire from the beginning of the race. Mello, fastest lap so far, 141.012, not a good lap. Very definitely not enough to take him anywhere. Marcus with a 140.667. We did see 139s, sort of half 139s from Humid in that last session. So let's follow him across the line, see what he can do. Gets to the middle of the road, not taking it as close to the pit wall as he could have, 139.207. So Humid immediately refining his pace. Venom on 140.246, so not putting in a shabby lap himself. G-Funk is going into the pits, obviously had some sort of issue on his lap. Potty coming across the line now, getting across to the pit lane, or pit wall, and 142.157. He's not going to be happy with that, even on the medium tires. Dark Fox 139.514, so a very good lap by him. And IMTJ going up with a 139.540. Humid trying to turn that car around. It is so awkward to try and turn around in those little escape roads. Managing to do it, but may have gotten a little bit of wing damage, possibly pushing a little bit too hard and deciding to bail out into the escape road. So we have two people without time so far, KQ Microstatic and G-Funk, both of them. G-Funk came in after possibly picking up some damage. KQ Microstatic has not come out. Not sure if his game is cooperating or not. Just keeping an eye on Mello, seeing if his lag is possibly still around. Looks like for the most part it's fine. He is going into the pits at the moment. And most people will probably be going into the pits at the moment. KQ Microstatic is coming out, so we will follow him around on his out lap and then hopefully on his flying lap as well. So KQ Microstatic taking it quite slowly around the track, possibly feeling out the grip on those medium tires as he heads into the castle section. Doesn't look entirely comfortable on those medium tires in that AlphaTauri. Not sure if he possibly doesn't have a setup for this track or what's happening, but KQ definitely taking it very slow through these corners as he gears up for his lap. So Mello reporting that he has managed to figure out what the issue was and should be sorted on his next lap. That is good to see. More races there are, the better, and we have an Alfa Romeo and a couple of other cars coming out as the AlphaTauri winds up for their lap, goes down the second or the first DRS straight, heading down towards turn number 3. Let's see what KQ Microstatic can do this as he throws his car into turn number 3, takes it nice and wide on the exit, gets right across to turn number 4, not quite up against the wall, but still gets a decent looking exit. That car doesn't sound entirely happy, but he does get a fastest first sector, although that might just be the interface bug that says that you've got the fastest sector against your own times rather than overall. Takes a lot of the curb on the entrance into the little castle section thing up. Takes a lot of curb there as well. That curb has actually been reduced in the real life track to make heading up into the castle section a little bit less dangerous, and it has helped a lot in the real life track, but of course in the game it hasn't been updated just yet as KQ Microstatic heads down towards turn number 15, gets the braking nice and done early, and gets around that corner quite nicely, gets a nice wide entrance into turn number 16 as well as he goes into sector 3. Not doing too badly here, getting extending every part of the track that you possibly can. Obviously with the walls so close together here, it is difficult to do that, but there is a little space to be found going outside of the white line. KQ comes down towards the line, keeps to the middle of the road, so not looking to make the track as short as possible, going with a 140.634, so definitely more to come from KQ Microstatic. I'm sure he will be able to drop that time even further, although he is on the medium tires, so that's not too bad for the medium tires. 1.4 seconds is a huge chunk, but not too bad for a first runner on the medium tires, especially with how slow he was going on his outlap. Okay, in the meantime, we have Humid currently on a lap, it looks like. So we will follow the Aston Martin driver around, although Mello is actually on a lap as well. So we'll follow him around just to keep an eye on that lag, see if the lag has actually been fixed. It was apparently frame lag rather than actual network lag, which can be quite easily fixed, and it looks like it has been fixed quite nicely. 4/10 down on his first sector. He was definitely struggling with that frame lag in the first sector. So 4/10 up, or 4/10 down on his previous time. This is looking like it is going to be a much better lap from Mello as he heads into the castle section. Ooh, little bit of a slide on the rear end, and that is going to cost him some time and possibly some damage to the floor, although the damage model can be a little forgiving at times. It doesn't look like Mello has lost too much downforce. It doesn't look like he's taking it easy through these sections as he goes into turn 15. Nice and wide on the exit of turn 15. You can see him almost scraping those Pirelli tires on the exit wall as he goes through. Oh, that is very wide, but still keeps it just within the lines, or just within track limits. I think that curb might actually be track limits rather than the lines themselves. That is of course changed this year in real Formula 1, but in the game itself there is still some leniency in some of the curbs. DRS open as he heads down towards the start-finish line, and Mello goes to 5th with a 140.023, so not a terrible lap, but not as fast as he would probably have liked. Probably lost a fair amount of time in that castle section. Humid goes through without any improvement. IMTJ is currently on the lap, coming across, keeping very close to the pit wall. Goes second with a 139.302. With the track ramping up, he is not going to be entirely happy with that lap. He will probably feel like he should have managed to get a little bit more as Mello retires. Looks like he crashed after turn 3. Humid will probably be going past. Yeah, that looks like a crash coming out of turn 3. That's unfortunate for Mello, but that is the end of his session there. So let's go have a look. Marcus is currently on an out lap, has just started his lap. As we pick him up going through turn 1, you can see how you have to ride the curbs on this track. You have to straddle them all the way along the curb, and it gives you a lot of extra speed, but it does mean that your ride height does have to be a little bit higher than usual on this track. With it being a street track, that's not necessarily a bad thing, but it also means that you can ride the curbs a lot more aggressively. Marcus doing exactly that through turn number 3 and 4, stays a little bit away from the curb on turn number 4, so not maximizing his exit speed as much as he possibly could. Heading through the little chicane of 5 and 6 and down towards the castle section. 7 and 8 are, so turn 7, this one here is sort of the prelude, and then 8, 9, 10 and 11. These corners here, a massive snap of oversteer both on a couple of those corners, so he will have lost time through there. Marcus now heading down through the government building section. Humid setting another lap of a 138.65 at 1, so a very fast lap by Humid, stating his intent in going 7/10 up from his previous time. So Humid very much putting in that much faster time with the track ramping up, but Marcus is now coming into the final section of the track. Turn 20 is that last little kink over there. DRS will be wide open now as Dark Fox has a yellow flag in sector 3. Marcus goes to 5th place, getting above Mello, who cannot run again. So 139.721, good enough for 5th place, and I doubt Marcus is going to get another run at it after that. Dark Fox, let's see what he is doing. He does have a yellow flag going, so it's possible that he's actually got either wing damage or low fuel. Looks like it's low fuel as he heads into the pits. You can see a good you could see for a moment a good idea of how narrow the pits are over there. So G-Funk is on a lap according to the graphics, so let's see how he goes as he goes into corner number 16. 17 is that little kink over there. 18 and 19 are this chicane. It is taken at almost full speed. It is so easy to lose it there, especially if you lose a tire, as Lance Stroll did a couple of years ago. And with it being so fast, those crashes happen so quickly, and there is nothing you can do to really avoid them. G-Funk going into the pits, so obviously having set a lap already. So we have Humid in first place with 138.651, IMTJ 139.302 on an outlap. So IMTJ not happy with his time, did manage to get out early enough to get another lap under his belt. Dark Fox going just having gone into the pits with a 139.361, Venom 139.523, Marcus 139.721, Mello out of the session with a 140.023, KQ Microstatic going out once again with a 140.634 his current time, but will be looking to make a difference with this coming lap. We'll actually follow him around. We did watch his previous lap, so we'll have a decent comparison. 40 in 8th place, 142.157, went out earlier in the session. G-Funk 143.087, doesn't look like he's going to try and go out again. Deadpool disqualified in his first attempt to get around the track. I think that was even on an out lap, so really unfortunate for Deadpool, but out very early. G-Funk retiring from the session, not feeling like he can do better, so he's going to accept his 9th place start. KQ winding up for the lap as he comes down the start-finish straight, crosses the line right about now, there it is, and starts the lap, gets right up onto that first curb, takes a nice exit, doesn't ride the curb as cleanly as we've seen a couple of other people's do it, into turn number 2 and the first DRS zone. DRS open nice and early as Humid gets behind him and slips him down to get possibly, will definitely get another lap on the board. As KQ Microstatic comes into turn number 3, takes a nice line through there, gets to the entrance of 4 very nicely, takes a lot more of the exit than we saw earlier. So KQ looks like he is feeling a little bit more comfortable with the track and with the car as he goes through 5 and 6, yes that's 5 and 6, and down towards 7. Let's see if he can get through the castle section without any issues. He gets across that curb very nicely, taking a lot of the curb. Oh, and there once again a snap of oversteer, punching his rear tire into the castle, but let's see if that affects him too much. It doesn't look like he's lost too much time here as he heads down towards turn number 15, brakes nicely, throws it in right up to the wall there. That was so close, but that is exactly what you want to see as he goes through. He is 9/10 up on his previous lap, so this is a good lap compared to his previous one. Almost a second rather up from his previous time. So he is heading into the pit straight now and will push it as hard as he possibly can, keep the car as straight as possible to not lose any speed to the lateral G-forces. Gets to the right hand side, which is not the ideal line through that final sector, but does get a 139.643, so does put Marcus down into 6th, his teammate. Humid is starting his lap now, so 138.651, 6/7 quicker. Oh, TJ going up with a 139.132, so Humid's 5/10 up on IMTJ is not good enough for him. He is trying to put in another lap, and you can see how much he is widening that track and extending it as far as he possibly can. Those walls will bite you if you get too close to them, and Humid is keeping that in mind, but keeping his car as close to them as possible without them becoming a problem. As he finishes sector 1, he did get the fastest time of all, and of course with him being the fastest car out there, that will be the fastest time, fastest sector 1 time probably of anyone. But it doesn't look like the castle is going nearly as well. He may have pushed his tires a little bit too hard, getting another snap of oversteer coming out of the castle section as he comes up on KQ Microstatic, I'm pretty sure. Oh, and the AI has spun Humid into turn 15. You can see how quickly you can lose it around turn 15. Nothing anyone could have done there, unfortunately. That is Codemasters at their best, and not making an AI that knows how to get out of the way when it's on an in-lap. And the funny thing is, that is something that they claim to have fixed in the most recent patch, so evidently it's not fixed. So Humid getting taken out by the AI as Venom comes through onto the start finish straight. Let's see what he can do. To the right hand side, he is coming across KQ Microstatics AI as well. Let's see if he does manage to navigate around it. He does. That AI is not coming into the pits. That's unusual. And Venom is still in third place. So Humid in first with 138.651, IMTJ 139.132, Venom 139.191, less than a tenth between the two of them. So very good qualifying for a couple of people. Humid may have been able to go faster. It did look like he was going to be able to go faster, but unfortunately that AI decided it was having none of it. So, Venom, as I said, 5/10ths back from Humid, but only 4/100ths back from IMTJ. Dark Fox, 7/10ths back from that with a 139.361, and KQ Microstatic with a 139.643 after that first lap where he looked very uncomfortable in that car. That was a good showing for him to get into 5th place. Marcus in 6th, Mello in 7th, Putty in 8th, G-Funk in 9th, and Deadpool, the only one not his head of time, in 10th position after getting disqualified while trying to get out of the escape road. Alrighty, as we gear up for the beginning of the race, something to keep in mind for this particular race is the fact that the first corner is very, very quickly upon you. The start-finish line, or the start line, is actually right up to the first corner practically, and there is no time to sort yourselves out. So we often see a lot of incidents into the first corner, and it is unfortunate, but it is always exciting to see who manages to get through, who leaves space, who doesn't, and who gets spun round as a result. We are obviously hoping that everyone gets through because that will lead to better racing later on, but we will see in a moment. So once again, we are waiting for the lobby to decide that it's time to go. Unfortunately, this is becoming a more and more normal thing. With the F1 2021 game, I don't know if they are trying to fix a whole bunch of things in the background and they're causing all sorts of issues in the process or what's going on, but we are once again waiting for players. Alrighty, we have the start signal, so apparently that was just people getting ready with their strategies, and so we will be underway in 15 seconds. Alrighty, here we go. So as I said, the first corner is always an interesting one here as the 5 red lights go on and off they go. Looks like a decent start for IMTJ, a better one than Humid. Humid not getting a good start and having to fall back into second place. Venom in third, Dark Fox in fourth, KQ Microstatic in fifth place, Mellow sixth, Potty 7th, Marcus 8th, G-Funk 9th, Deadpool 10th. Looks like we have a little bit of contact there, and that looked like a McLaren into the wall. I think that was Potty. I believe that was Potty going into the wall. Yes, here Potty has got into the wall. Looks like he does have a little bit of wing damage. Meanwhile, out in front, IMTJ has made good on his good start, getting ahead of Humid and keeping that position. Marcus, in the meantime, and G-Funk have traded positions. Marcus up to 7th position with G-Funk in 8th as they go down towards turn 7 and the castle section for the first time. IMTJ will be the first to navigate the castle section with pressure right behind him. Gets through nice and easily. Humid right behind. So everyone seems to be doing fine on this first lap. Mellow gets through as well. G-Funk, as they're not having issues. Potty gets through even without a wing at all. So Potty has had a very big shunt with something. I do believe it was a wall. He didn't look like he was too close to anyone else. So Potty now without a wing entirely, and he is going to be losing time throughout this lap as he goes back towards the pits to replace that front wing. In the meantime, out in front, IMTJ is 4.5 tenths up from Humid, and that is not enough going on to this pit straight. This pit straight is so easy to pass on. It is very long, very strong. The slipstream is so powerful, and you can see Humid is almost ready to pass. It looks at the inside of turn 1, gets alongside and gets spun out. So Humid gets spun out by IMTJ. That is going to be investigated after the race, but that looked like it was Humid was alongside there, and that has ended up with Humid being spun and now in the clutches of Mellow, who is right alongside. We'll watch these two heading down towards turn number 3 and see if the game allows us to. They get through without any sort of issues. Humid does manage to keep the position and get ahead, cuts in front of Mellow to try and get the better exit out of that corner, but misjudges it and cuts across just a little bit too late, with Mellow hitting into the back of him and once again losing a position. So Humid's race going from bad to worse, as he is now in 6th place from 1st on the grid. So Humid with a lot of work to have to do on those soft tires with possible damage. Looks like he is struggling with that car, so he may have damage from the various incidents that he has gone through. In the meantime, the Dark Fox has decided he is tired of being behind that Mercedes, and he is right on that gearbox, looking at the inside of 15. Not a good place to try and pass, but if he stays behind here, it is unfortunately too early for DRS, but the Dark Fox very much stating his intention, will get a slipstream all the way down the pit straight and will very likely take Venom's position as they get onto the straight itself. There we go. You can see how close he is already, under a tenth, and alongside as they go down the pit straight. Not the best idea, and you can see how much speed he lost, but that looks like Venom is going into the pits. So Venom pitting very early, lap 3 only, so I suspect there is some sort of damage for Venom, but he pits and that loses him a whole whack of positions. Mellow is now in 3rd place. Ooh, Humid once again spinning out, so Humid definitely struggling with that car. It does look like he has some sort of floor damage. That would explain the struggles that he is having, lack of downforce. But Humid up to 5th position from 6th where he was, but that is due to the early pit stop of Venom. So Humid on track in 5th position, but struggling with traction, struggling with downforce. And that, what's happening there? Deadpool going into the pits, bringing out the yellow flag for a moment. So I wonder if Deadpool went a little bit slowly through there. IMTJ commanding lead of the race, 2 seconds up, but Dark Fox is a very quick racer, and we will see him trying to make up that 2 seconds very quickly, especially with DRS on offer as soon as he gets within a second. In the meantime, Marcus does not need to wait a couple of laps to get that DRS. Oh, the Dark the Dark Fox has spun coming out of the castle section. So the Dark Fox has spun, commentator's curse right there, 2 seconds back, and I was just talking about how he was likely to catch IMTJ, and he spins coming out of the castle. Really unfortunate for him. Marcus and Mello fighting as they head down towards turn 16. Mello possibly giving up that position so he would get DRS on this section of the track here, so they'll go through this fast chicane. The DRS starts halfway down the straight, so Mello behind Marcus at the moment, keeping up with them, will get DRS as they cross here. There is the DRS beep, and you can see immediately it's like they just shifts into an extra gear, and Mello ahead of Marcus as they go down towards turn 1. Looked like a little bit of a snap there, but not too bad. Marcus now in 3rd position as Mello takes the place once again. Mello getting a little bit of lag there, but doesn't look like it's too bad. But Marcus will now have the DRS. Marcus heading down to down towards turn 3 with the DRS, looks at the inside of Mello, decides better, and tucks in behind him once again. Mello is lagging quite badly, so if he doesn't get that sorted, he will start getting notes to let him know that his connection is struggling or his PC is struggling, whichever it is. If it does get too bad, he will be asked to retire from the race due to technical difficulties. But for the meantime, Marcus and Mello right on top of each other as they head towards the castle section. This is one place where you can't afford to have lag. Oh, Marcus getting a massive snap of oversteer, and Mello once again teleporting all over the place. So that is becoming a danger to those around him. That is really unfortunate because Mello did look like he is having a decent race, up in 2nd at the moment. Okay, so Marcus a 2nd back now from Mello as he comes out through the end of Sector 2 and into Sector 3. But the Dark Fox has already made up a whole bunch of time, 3.6 seconds back from Marcus, so he is pushing as hard as he can. In the meantime, IMTJ has popped into the pits, so Marcus goes up to 2nd on the track as IMTJ pits from 1st, Mello up into 1st place, Dark Fox in 3rd. IMTJ in the pits, looks like he is going on to probably medium tires. There they are, those medium tires. Venom making it clear that those medium tires are working well on this track, going to the fastest time on the board. So Mello coming through turn number 4 at the moment, heading back down towards the castle section, or the sector 2, through turn number 6 down towards 7. Takes a lot of the curb there, but always keeping at least 2 tires on in between the track limits. Goes into the castle section, takes it very nice and nice and close to the apex on the left hand side, and out into the government building section of the track. Such a fast sweeping set of corners there, but very easy to lose it if you do get it wrong. Into turn 15, both of them navigating that turn nice and cleanly. But to the Dark Fox, it looks like he is so much closer than he actually is at the moment. Still 3.1 seconds back, but you can definitely see him in the background, and you can see him getting closer and closer and closer. So heading through the chicane of 18 and 19, and Marcus is still trying to get a slipstream off Mello. Mello moving way too many times to try and break the slipstream there, and going into the pits very late. That is not okay. He crossed the pit line on the entry. You're supposed to get across to the pit line before the pit entry, and that was way too late. That is going to be investigated as well. So Humid showing that those mediums are working very well with a 142 lap. That takes him to the top of the times as well. Humid obviously trying to still make up that lost lap time from that spin earlier on. In the meantime, Dark Fox has made up a tenth and a bit on Marcus ahead, 2.785 seconds, so that's even more now as he tries to chase down Marcus. It was 3.1 seconds just now when we looked, so quite a few tenths up from his opponent as far as lap time is concerned. The Dark Fox is running on those soft tires and has not stopped yet, so Marcus and the Dark Fox, the only two to not stop yet. How's it, Hypex? Whereabouts did you drop out? The Dark Fox is heading around. I'm pretty sure Marcus and Dark Fox will likely have to stop soon. 5-lap-old softs, and the softs do not last around this lap. There, Marcus is going in now, and Dark Fox is staying out. So the Dark Fox deciding that his tires are still working for him, and it did look like it. He made up about 0.3 of a second on his previous lap, so it looks like the Dark Fox has managed to preserve his tires a little bit and will be looking to make a cracker of an... Oh, that is not the way to do this. We'll be looking for a good lap on the in-lap to try and make up some time and try the overcut, but banging into the wall there, he might have taken a little bit of damage, which is not what you want to do, especially with the soft tires. So we're following the Dark Fox around as he is first on the track, although he is the only one to not have pit yet. We can see that by the age of the tires. KQ, Microstatic and Porty had to go in for an early-ish pit stop. So they are on the oldest tires. Porty deciding to go onto the hard tires, possibly hoping to make it last until the end of the race. Although those hard tires are very difficult to race around this track. So Dark Fox coming through towards the end of the second sector, and INTJ 4.2 seconds back. INTJ making up a lot of time there, so Dark Fox possibly feeling like his tires are wearing out, or otherwise may have picked up damage from that little bit of a tank slapper that he had. Deadpool retiring from the session, coming through the castle section, so Putty is about to go through there. Let's see where Deadpool came off. You can see him on the left hand side there, smacked against the wall, and looks like he just kept going to the top of the castle section, and his safety car is now out. The Dark Fox has been gifted a whole bunch of time here that he can now come in and put those tires on and not lose any time to the rest of the field. Looks like he definitely has some wing damage, so luckily it looks like it's wing damage and not floor damage, which would have been far worse. Let's see where he does come out. Venom has pit as well onto new tires. And Humid, having come from 7th at his worst point, is currently up to 5th, and this will actually help him a lot, as well as it will close up the field. And with Humid's pure pace, we have seen him make up many more positions than this. KQ Marcus coming out on the soft tires, so I would imagine that he is looking at either he's been screwed over by Jeff, or otherwise he is going to be looking at making up a bunch of positions, getting out ahead of the rest of the guys after the safety car is done, and doing a 2-stop, but it is a very risky strategy. It is going to take a massive drive from him. Porty 2-lap-old mediums as he comes out. That is unusual, so 2-lap-old mediums, he's just come out of the pits. He's changed onto old mediums. I wonder if he went in to repair a wing. That would explain why he's on old mediums. G-Funk has just rejoined the session. I think he was dropped out earlier, so he is going to benefit from this as well. He now has some time to make up, and with the safety car out and everyone else going at a much reduced pace, G-Funk will be able to make up a whole bunch of time that he wouldn't have been able to make up otherwise. Or wouldn't be able to make up easily otherwise. I'm not going to rule him out entirely. So interestingly, you can see at the end of Sector 2, behind the safety car, it's an extra 26 seconds already at this point in the lap. As the guys come across the line, we'll follow TJ because he would have met the safety car first. So he's going to have the lowest amount of, or probably the highest amount of loss of time to his fastest lap behind the safety car, at this point at least. 40 seconds, the difference between a normal lap and a safety car lap. How's it, Elf? How you doing? Yeah, the guys are quite close together, but obviously it is a safety car. But yeah, they were racing quite close together before the safety car came out, so hoping that they don't get too spread out. There've been a couple of incidents which did create a few gaps through the field. Cool, Hypex, we'll see you shortly. A few incidents through the field did separate the guys, but we will see how they take the safety car restart and how we get through here. So Humid is currently running with the fastest lap of the race, if I recall correctly. Yes, there it is, at 142.130. So we will watch him go around, so we will be able to actually see the sector, where the sectors change. So 20 seconds in the first sector is the safety car slower than the fastest lap at the moment. And there's a possibility that we'll have one more. There's a possibility that we'll have one more lap under the safety car, as G-Funk is still quite far behind the rest of the pack. So we'll see how we go. Coming towards the end of this lap, I don't think the safety car is going to come in. However, with this lap being such a long lap and so few laps being in the race, it is possible that the safety car will decide that enough of the racers are close enough together that it will come in at the end of this. I haven't heard any real contact between the guys as they are behind the safety car, so we will see how that goes. TJ has done some very interesting starts previously, but this is a very long straight, so he'll probably pull a Bottas at Mugello start rather than the Leclerc start from Bahrain. So safety car has not announced that it's coming in, so it looks like we are going to have one more lap behind the safety car. I don't see it staying out longer than that. But to give you guys all an example of how fast these Formula 1 cars are, Humid obviously having the fastest lap, now coming across the line, and his safety car lap is 51 seconds, so far slower than his fastest lap. That means that behind the safety car, you are running almost a minute slower per lap than if you're running outside of a safety car period. This means that your tires are cold. They get freezing, especially with these long straights up to the finish line. In the first sector, even in the second sector to a large extent, you have lots of longer straight sections, and yes, you will put some temperature into the right hand side tires, but there's almost nothing going on the left hand side, and it is so easy to let those left hand tires cool off. When you then go into turn number one, obviously a left-handed turn, those left tires are then unloaded, and with them being unloaded and cool, you end up with a situation where they just do not grip up, and that's why you see so many lockups going into turn one here after the safety car periods, and we are likely to see an incident going into turn one, although I did say that at the beginning of the race and everyone did manage to get through turn one without any sort of incident. Oh yeah, thanks, Elf. The safety car restart, the race leader can hold all the way until the last moment at the start-finish line. At the start-finish line itself, if they haven't gone by that point, they're not going to, and they can be passed. No one is allowed to pass until that start-finish line, even if the green flag has dropped. So that start-finish line is once again the start of the race as such, even on a safety car restart. So if the race leader does go before that, obviously then the cars have to go before that, but still they are not allowed to pass before that start finish line. As Marcus, that was, what on earth happened there? It didn't look like there was any contact between Marcus and Mello, but Mello looked like he lost it and went into the pit wall. That was hectic to watch, and that is another safety car. I am not surprised. That was at full speed into the pit wall. Not sure what happened there. It didn't look like there was any actual contact between Marcus and Mello, so I can only imagine that was some sort of desync that led to that. And once again, the safety car is out. Lap 12, 2 safety cars, and that would not have been fun to watch in real F1, to be honest. That was hectic. Hypex, guys were going down the straight. Marcus pulled alongside Mello, and Mello, I didn't see any contact, but I did look up at the timing board at the moment where Mello looked like he lost it and went straight into the pit wall, and the car just disintegrated. Yeah, absolutely. We definitely need replays in this game, but unfortunately, that's not quite available just yet. So, guys are going around once again to join up on the safety car with everyone as close as they are. Hopefully, the safety car will probably only hang around for 2 laps. I think is the minimum, but we might see a situation where the safety car hangs around for 1 lap because of how close the field all is together. So we have lost Deadpool on his own team, and Mello, yeah, it could be a wheel issue. Mello was having frame lag earlier, so no, it was the Red Bull. The Red Bull crashed here along the pit straight. Ooh, Marcus going into the pits, so I wonder if he's just wanting to get rid of these tires or whether he's got some sort of damage. We'll follow him through. Just tires, so no damage. Marcus deciding he wants newer tires. G-Funk has also come in for tires. KQ Microstatic has left the session, so that is unfortunate. I'm going to send him another invite. I know he is having a couple of issues, so he may have just dropped and will likely to come back. Just while we're waiting for the safety car period to get through itself. Yeah, Max's tire blew there. There was also Stroll's tire also blew a little bit earlier in the lap, or in the race, coming into sector 3, coming out of turns 18 and 19, the fast chicane. So yeah, no, honestly, the server issues have been ridiculous of late, and it's not just the problem is it's not just the servers that are. Ooh, Humid is dropping down the order, so I wonder what happened there. Okay, it looks like everyone is giving his positions back, but KQ, oh no, KQ has rejoined at the worst possible moment, just in time to keep himself ahead of G-Funk, but has lost a whole bunch of positions while his car spazzed out and the AI decided to just give his positions to everyone else. That is unfortunate for KQ, but at least he has managed to get back into the game. So we have safety car in this lap after 1 lap. So if the field is bunched up enough, especially with a lap that is this long, it looks like the safety car does come in after just 1 lap. That is good to know. So we have IMTJ running out in first place, in the Williams, Dark Fox in the Alfa Romeo in 2nd place, Humid in 3rd, making a very good recovery run so far. 8 lap old mediums though, so that might come back to bite him towards the end of the race. Venom on 4-lap old mediums as well, and Potty in 5th place, 6-lap old mediums. Dark Fox, we suspect he might have more damage than just the wing, but we'll see. It looks like IMTJ has gone a lot earlier this time, punching it very early down the straight and trying to hope that he's going to be able to use the ERS to just push it. Humid and KQ Microstatic coming into the pits, so Humid may have gotten some sort of damage from that incident in the castle section, and that is bad to worse for his race. We'll see which of them comes out first, but IMTJ getting a good restart. Dark Fox right behind him, 3/10 back. Obviously, there will be a couple of laps before the DRS comes back, but Dark Fox looks like he is not going to need that DRS to take this position. I've always had situations where the field has been quite well spread out, so 1-lap safety cars are new to me. We generally have a couple of laps between safety cars, so yeah, I didn't realize you could have a single lap safety car, but it's good to know. Like it's interesting to see that, like, the guys all being that close together and managing to stay that close together through the half a lap they were able to race. But yeah, great to see. What leagues are you racing in, Hypex? Like tier 1? Elf, yeah. Oh, Potty has retired from the session. That looks like he... Oh, it's another safety car. Okay then. Potty looks like he binned it coming through turn number 14. Is that? No, this is turn number 13. Wait, ooh, in the middle of the road. Oh, that was close. Humid and KQ Microstatic doing a great job to avoid that wreck in the middle of the road. But there you have it. That's the level of reflexes that these guys have to have. Getting around that wreck, staying out of the wall in the process. But both McLarens now out, Potty out as well after that wreck coming through turn 13. Probably just a situation of cold tires and too much speed and just losing the rear end. Okay, let's see what happens. Potty is saying that there may have been an AI which caused the issue, but I don't think anyone is AI at the moment. That's a little odd. Hypex, never worry about being too slow. Like, it's a situation where most leagues will just want people to be on the grid and run through the race, because it leads to more people joining, and the more people that join, like, the more fun everyone has, especially if everyone's racing responsibly and racing with respect. Like, the more people on the grid, the better. It just makes a better spectacle. It makes for a more fun race, and it means that more people are going to feel more comfortable to join the race. Deadpool, no offense to him, is one of our slower drivers. But like, he missions around, he tries to get to the ends of races, and he's actually, like, it's good practice for him, and it means that you do have someone there at the back that people can race against as well. Well, if you're looking to join the F1 2020 League as well, I'm sure those guys will be happy to have you as well. Yeah. And Elf, you'll get there as well. Your consistency is getting a lot better, and I think that's the biggest thing. You have to try and be consistent before you try and be fast. And I mean, there have been situations where you've ended up with a lot more points than people expect because you are that consistent. So safety car not announcing that it's coming in just yet. So it looks like we're going around for a second lap under the safety car, despite the fact that the field was entirely bunched up. So not sure what the safety car driving AI is thinking. Possibly, so with so many safety cars in such a short space of time, he might have decided that he's just going to keep going and make sure that no one else crashes. Humid both into the pits. Looks like they are going to try and put on the soft tires, which means 10 laps to the end of the race. They're going to have to push really hard at the beginning. 10 laps to the end. So, if I remember the tire wear around this track, yeah, if I remember the tire wear around this track, IMTJ and Venom are definitely going to have issues towards the end of the race with those medium tires. Marcus, G-Funk, and Microstatic should be able to push to the end without too much of a problem, but Dark Fox and Humid should be able to make up positions pretty quickly on those soft tires if they can, especially with the safety car restart. So this could actually be a good strategy. Dark Fox also at the last race, he managed to make tires last way longer than we thought. He managed to make the soft tires last 12 laps at Spain, and he raced all the way through to the end. So like, if they are being smooth on those tires, not pushing it too hard, making sure that they're straight on in the traction zones, and if there's another safety car as well, like there's a good chance that they manage to extend those tires to the end. It is going to be a difficult ask, but I have seen, as I said, I've seen the Dark Fox do it in Spain, which is, I would almost feel like Spain is a little bit more heavy on the tires, but we'll see once the guys come around. You can see everyone trying to warm up those medium tires. They are going to struggle with tire warm-up after so many laps under the safety car. Those tires are probably cold at this point. So let's see what happens as they go down the pit straight like a little snake. Unfortunately, only a little snake at this point. Oh, and it looked like there was some sort of contact there between KQ Microstatic and the Dark Fox. That is going to be a problem. Dark Fox gives back the position to KQ Microstatic just before the finish line, so I don't think he's going to get a penalty, but it looked like someone was spinning out in the background there. KQ Microstatic losing a couple. Oh, Marcus has either lost it into turn 2 or been taken out into turn 2, so that is another issue for the Alpha Tauris. KK Microstatic now taking the position from Marcus, who has wing damage and will be struggling around this lap to try and get back to the front. The Dark Fox and Humid, in the meantime, have gone up, what is that, 3 positions from the back of the grid. That is a good use of the soft tires right there, although Venom does look like he is wanting to make a change. No, Venom is not the one fighting. So Humid and the Dark Fox trading positions going in towards the castle section. That is not somewhere where I would have expected. Oh, that is TJ who has, oh no, G-Funk has spun. So G-Funk spinning through the castle section, luckily getting ghosted very quickly so everyone else can get through there. He is going to have a mission to try and spin himself around, and you can see him doing the 16-point turn that's required there and losing his front wing in the process. So we have Marcus and G-Funk running around without front wings. KQ might have a little bit of damage from hitting the wall between him and Dark Fox and Humid fighting. And IMTJ out in front, 11 lap old tires, 11 lap old mediums facing new fresh softs on Humid and the Dark Fox. 2.6 seconds the difference between Humid and IMTJ. If Humid and Dark Fox work together rather than trading places through this entire section, they will get a very good run on IMTJ. They will also get out of range of Venom behind them on those mediums. So back to Elf. Sorry, there was a lot that happened there. Elf, with your G-Hub, I had to actually uninstall G-Hub with the G29 software, G29 unplugged, or the Logitech Wheel unplugged, and then delete all the profiles and everything, and then reinstall the G-Hub, and that then allowed me to get mine to work. So might want to try that. Yeah, no, TJ is not going to make it to the end on those 12 lap old mediums. I don't see it happening, and I think Venom is going to have an issue as well. Marcus and G-Funk now into the pits onto soft tires, being forced to do so with losing their front wings. So yeah, that was unfortunate. Elf's problem is it's not remembering his rotation. So I think he said that it's going the opposite direction. Yeah, quarter turn is full lock. So a quarter turn, 90-degree turn on his steering wheel is 180 on the on the in-game wheel. So yeah, I had to fully reinstall G-Hub and actually delete all the profiles and registry edits and so on and so forth before it would work again on my Windows 11 when I upgraded. So yeah. Alrighty, so IMTJ has lost the position to Humid. IMTJ starting to suffer on those medium tires. Humid with the fastest lap of the race, 1:47.206. So, and the Dark Fox wasn't able to actually keep up with Humid, so that is quite unusual, unless the Dark Fox is looking more at his own tires than getting out in front, which is not necessarily a bad idea. Oh, right, yeah, I don't think the Logitech profiler works with, yeah, DRS enabled next lap, so this Dark Fox is within a second, so he should be able to take IMTJ without too much of a problem. Yeah, the Logitech profiler, I don't know if that works. It will actually work properly with Windows 11, but you know, the full reinstall is worth a try. I still have to actually switch back to 900 degrees and back down to 375 degrees every time I want to play F1, because it just does not remember my my rotation setting, even if it's set in the G-Hub to 375. Get into the game and it will restart the computer and it thinks it's 900 even though it says 375. Dark Fox right behind IMTJ going into turn 15 and coming around turn 16. Let's see how his exit is. A little bit of a better exit than IMTJ. IMTJ obviously on those medium tires, not wanting to get onto those curves quite as much, as they will eat the tires even faster, but it's not going to be enough. The Dark Fox 4/10ths back, and with it looks like IMTJ has used up almost all of his ERS. The red light is flashing on the back of that Williams, and the Dark Fox still has quite a bit in store, it looks like, as his is not flashing and he gets past without too much of an issue. In the meantime, KQ Microstatic and Venom have switched positions as well. KQ Microstatic up into 4th position after the issues he was having at the beginning of the... Oh, that is the commentator's curse right there. And we have another safety car. So, Humid and the Dark Fox on 3-lap-old soft tires. IMTJ and Venom 14 and 11-lap-old mediums. They are definitely going to come in during the safety car period, especially with how close they are to the guys out in front. 35 seconds back to Marcus and 19 seconds back from Marcus to G-Funk. So IMTJ and Venom actually have a free pit stop. They have to take that pit stop now. Otherwise they will lose way too much time. But Humid and the Dark Fox could also... I have jinxed so many people. Like at this point, I know I shouldn't say, oh, it looks like someone's doing well. I was literally about to say that he's fought back so well, and then... but yeah, I would not be surprised if we see all of the top 4 going in and getting new softs. I think Humid and the Dark Fox might still have a set of softs available that are slightly newer, if not brand new. I don't remember how many they went through. How many they went through in quali, unfortunately. Yeah, I would rate all of the top 4 will probably go in and try and get rid of the older softs. Dark Fox and Humid, if they do have a new set of softs, I think they will do it. We'll see now. Yep, there it is. There it is, all 4. I called it. It's always satisfying. So all 4 of the top 4 going in, getting rid of their current tires, getting those new softs on. IMTJ going all the way to the end and up in front for a moment before everyone else gets out behind him. And there we go, all four coming out, no bad pit stops there, no misses of the throttle, and all four on brand new tires. So we will have a basically full rolling restart with Marcus and G-Funk on 1 lap older tires. G-Funk looks like he is on an old set of tires. I think when he had an issue earlier on in the game, his bot actually pitted him. So I believe that's why his tires are slightly older than anyone else's, but everyone on new-ish tires, if not brand new tires, and this should be a mad dash to the end. The safety car is probably going to stay out 1 extra lap with G-Funk and Marcus that far back. Marcus had just lost a position and is missing the front right end plate of his wing. So Marcus looks like he has had a moment going through turn number 2 and once again has wing damage. Yeah, those AlphaTauris are really struggling. It's really sad to see both here and in real life. There's obviously Gasly and Yuki, both of them trying to having issues through the various weekends. But I'm sure the cars will get better, and I'm sure like Marcus and KQ generally do pretty well. So it's unfortunate that this track is treating them so poorly, but it is so easy to make a mistake here, especially with cold tires after a safety car restart and everyone bunched up. It's so easy and so quick to lose it. I must say, this is the first time I'm actually seeing a track that has like those skid marks like right underneath one of the one of the cameras. And those skid marks are really detailed. I did not realize there was that much detail in them. But yeah, that's what you get with ultra graphics, I guess. Although still that weird ghosting behind the wheels. I don't know what's causing that. So Marcus into the pits once more. 2 lap old soft tires and a wing change. Eventually, there we go. Out it goes. 2 lap old soft, so his softs are still a little bit newer than G-Funk's, so we'll see whether he can make that work for him. G-Funk with the penalty as well. The only person to get a penalty on this track so far. It's very difficult to actually pick up a track limit penalty. Is that a track limit penalty? Yes, it is a track limit penalty. So G-Funk managing to find one of like 2 places that you can get a track limit penalty and picking them up. 5 stops for both G-Funk and Marcus, but you know what? They're still in the race, so they'll still get points. 4 stops for Humid, 3 for the Dark Fox. IMTJ 2 stops. Really would probably feel like he deserves to be higher up. Venom 3 stops as well. So. I do believe that there is an unlimited number of front wings. I think someone in our league managed to change 7 or 8 the front wings, and they were still just going. So I'm pretty sure there are unlimited of them. Yeah. Yes, yeah. As I said, though, there's like 2 places where you can. Corner cut on this track, and he appears to have found both of them. Alrighty, so safety car going through turn 15. At turn 16 is generally where it announces its intent to go in. There it is. So Humid is now the lead driver. Let's see what he does. I feel like he is generally pretty strategic on his releases, so Humid will probably look to go right up to the start finish line, especially with everyone on soft tires behind him. You know, I could say something good about Humid, but that might lead to the commentator's curse as well. Ooh, TJ is playing with fire there alongside the Dark Fox, right up almost alongside the Dark Fox and leading to it almost looked like some sort of touch there. Marcus and G-Funk trading positions, but giving them back immediately. And that sounds like the guys have gone. Looks like everyone has got away fine. Humid around the first corner, doesn't go too wide. Dark Fox goes a little bit wider. Yeah, the max strategy, definitely. Although we saw how it works against someone who's actually thinking. So Humid has managed to get underway quite well. 6/10 between him and Dark Fox. IMTJ much closer to Dark Fox than what Dark Fox is to Humid. 2/10 back at the moment. It is very close. It is going to be a hectic run through this this very windy track with 3 laps to go. 4 laps. Yes, 4 laps to go. Alrighty, everyone seems to be behaving themselves. G-Funk has dropped back a little bit, so don't know if he maybe has some floor damages and just taking it easy to make sure that he gets through. Marcus finding one of the corner cut zones, and him being in last place. It looks like G-Funk will have something to fight for after all. Marcus and G-Funk 5th and 6th at the moment, and both with 3-second penalties. Humid out in front, 7/10 still between him and the Dark Fox. Dark Fox 4/10 back to IMTJ. So IMTJ dropping back a little bit there, but making it up in that last couple of corners as they go into Sector 3. And now it's a long straight-ish down towards the start-finish line. Humid has lost 2/10 to the Dark Fox at the moment, so people burning their ERS at the moment, the slipstream coming into play. This long straight gives you so much time to try and catch up to the guys ahead of you, but it looks like all of them are using ERS to try and keep out of reach of the guys behind them. The interval has managed to even out a little bit, so Dark Fox gaining a little bit to Humid, gaining away from IMTJ a little bit. Venom is now also close enough that if DRS were happening this lap, it would have been a DRS train. Yeah, Hypex, that would be like, I think there's a reason they don't include that in multiplayer. It just wouldn't be fair. Marcus, Venom and IMTJ. So IMTJ taking a bad line through somewhere. The two of them going through that corner 5, that chicane 5 and 6 side by side. That is not somewhere you want to go side by side. And you can see how much time. Oh, that is G-Funk, and G-Funk has lost it coming out of turn number 6. So we have 5 players left. Yeah. So 5 players. I don't even know what to say. Like, okay, so 5 players left: Humid, the Dark Fox, IMTJ, Venom, and Marcus. The only ones still on track. Marcus with 3-second penalty will probably just be looking to try and get to the end of the race. Good points for everyone who finishes here. Obviously 25, 18, 15, 12, and 10. Venom is the closest to anyone else. Venom and IMTJ's fight just now has put IMTJ 1.2 seconds back from the Dark Fox. Dark Fox 2 seconds back from Humid. So Humid once again stamping his authority on the field at 140.993 with the fastest lap of the race on these fresh softs in the Aston Martin. So Humid 2 seconds back to the Dark Fox, 1.3 seconds back to IMTJ, and Venom looking very closely at that Williams gearbox, or Mercedes gearbox actually. So 2 Mercedes powered cars flying down the way. Venom is now ahead at the corner, takes a much tighter line through there, so IMTJ will get a better exit, but there's no place to pass here, although we did see them go side by side through this next chicane. Let's see if IMTJ decides he's going to do that again. No, not this time. Stays behind for now. I do believe they will have DRS this lap. I didn't see the DRS enabled sign though, unless I missed it. I think it was lap 23, so no, it will be the last lap. So they'll probably get DRS on the last lap. So IMTJ just has to stay within a second of Venom ahead, and then he will get the DRS. If not this lap, then the next lap. So let's see what he can do. Venom has also pulled within a second of the Dark Fox, so let's actually ride on board with Venom and see where he is when he goes across the DRS line. It is around this corner here. There it is. And there is going to be a DRS train. So IMTJ, Venom, and Marcus all will have DRS on the Dark Fox. The Dark Fox will not have DRS of Humid, although he is catching a little bit, 1.3 seconds. I know Humid and the Dark Fox do actually race quite a lot together. As we go on to the last lap, Humid may have dropped back to give Dark Fox a little bit of DRS to keep things going as it is. But there we go, the Dark Fox getting DRS off Humid, possibly by design, Humid wanting the Dark Fox to finish behind him, because it means that the two of them who haven't had a good run of races lately, there have been a couple of DNFs and otherwise poor luck, they will both get top points, and because they both had bad luck, it means that they actually have quite a bit of points to make up on IMTJ and the rest of the guys. I don't remember exactly who's up at the top of the table, but this is looking like I know the Mercedes team is actually doing very well in general. Humid now out in front, 9/10 up from the Dark Fox. Will probably try and keep him within a second to help him defend against Venom. 4.9 tenths back through turn 15. You can see it's a very interesting profile of that corner. Why doesn't it give us this helicopter cam throughout the race? It's such a nice camera and they just don't give it to us. So onto the pit straight that final time through the fast chicane where Lance Stroll had his tire blowout last year. And Humid still in first place, 6/10 between him and the Dark Fox, and we'll see the Dark Fox's wing pop open right there under that traffic light. And Venom getting so close but not quite quickly enough. So we have a finish with only 5 people making it through to the end of the race of the 10 that started. Quite a race of attrition. All street tracks they always are very difficult to get through without any sort of incidents, and you could see the number of wings that people went through, and just generally how quickly those walls jumped out and bit people. It is a very difficult track to get around, but the guys did well. Humid in first place, 140.993, his fastest lap, an absolutely cracking lap there. Dark Fox in second place, Venom in third, IMTJ in fourth, Marcus in fifth, and the rest all DNF. So thank you very much for joining us. Thanks for all the chats. It was great to have you guys, and we will hopefully see you next time.